I'm not gonna ask you again. You stay out of that park. But one of these days, you're gonna find something that's gonna walk right through your traps. Trust me, you don't want to find that animal.
Just another movie night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. We are just another movie night, and I am Scott, and with me is my love, my sweetheart, my darling,
Aw.
Joe.
Aw.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Scotty.
How you doing? You looking lovely this morning, evening, day, afternoon, whatever
Where
time
are
it is.
you?
I don't know what's happening. Things are just falling out of my mouth like
So
it
it's
usually does.
afternoon, and well, thank you for the compliment. I just walked in the door from work, and we're about to go see a movie.
Yes. We're seeing, what's this movie called?
In a Violent Nature.
In a Violent Nature. Yeah, it's a very independent movie. Now, I guess here's the question, right? We want to support new horror movies of any kind, even any kind of movie, right? We would just want to support movies. We want to support indie movies. We want to see everything. We give everything a chance. But that, I mean, sometimes it's a questionable thing, right? Mm-hmm. Because we have a lot of people out there these days saying, "Oh, let's go see," and I want new movies. I want new kinds of properties. I want originals. Stuff like that, right? We hear that shit all the time. You can't throw a rock on the internet without hitting at least 50 of these comments.
Yeah.
Right?
Why do we have to have remakes? Why can't we, why can't they be original writers in Hollywood? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. There's so many remakes and reboots and sequels, and I can't stand it, except everybody goes and pays for those movies. Mm-hmm. And then you have these releases like this where, they're actually getting wider distribution. And they're getting put out there a lot more, and we're seeing it a lot more. I think that maybe Terrifier kind of helped out this situation a little bit because, and even Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, these movies actually got people to see them. But I will say they, on a small budget, they got more money in these releases than you would think that they normally would. So I guess they're coming off as success. So we're seeing more of these movies release, and we're lucky enough to see some of these movies come out in theaters near us.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is before and after reviews.
I didn't say that.
No.
I get out of here. I just said
You
it.
did not say it. No. This is before and after reviews where we go see a new movie in the theater and we talk about our thoughts before and after
I said it? I didn't say that?
You did not say that. We jumped
wow.
right in.
I jumped right into
Scotty.
it. I had a lot of thoughts, I guess.
You know why? Because you're too busy telling me that I'm pretty.
I did do that. I got distracted.
See, that's why you should never tell me that I'm pretty.
But you are pretty.
Aw.
I like telling you. Hey, this is before and after reviews, everybody. Hey, no, seriously, though, what I was saying was, a lot of people on the internet, they say these things, but they don't really do the things that they say that they want to do. So people usually don't pay for these movies. And I think it is kind of an interesting conversation, an interesting topic, because you don't see a lot of people see the movies that they say, "Oh, I want to see something different." Now, I do think it's important, but a lot of the time it's an iffy thing because you never know what you're going to get. In the indie movies that are coming out recently, we've been hit or miss with them, our enjoyment. Now, I think this one in particular is going to be an interesting one because I think that the filmmaker, whose name is Chris Nash, he hasn't done much. He's worked on some films. He's done some acting, and he was in the movie The Void that I really like. That's a very indie movie. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people seem to be harsh on it, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very original and very interesting. He worked on ABC's of Death. the second one, where it doesn't really count because everybody only filmed like little bits because it's the alphabet. So he only did like a little short in that. And, he's worked on some movies, like he did Psycho Gorman. He worked in the, I believe, in the special effects department on that movie, which is cool.
Okay, I think I like Psycho Gorman more than you did.
Yeah, I wanted to like Psycho Gorman a little more.
I liked it. I had a good time with it.
It is a fun movie. I mean, even if I'm going to be harsh on it, it is still a fun.
It was very fun.
Very culty movie that it will, if I saw it a couple more times, I'm sure it'll grow on me heavily.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like Turbo Kid in that way. Turbo Kid I don't think you know what Turbo Kid is.
Wait.
You're laughing like you don't remember what it is.
Turbo Kid.
Turbo Kid is, I believe, by the same director as Psycho Gorman.
Wait,
It's also a crazy retro 80s thing where the kid thinks he's...
is it post-apocalyptic?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that. 2015.
Yeah, it's also very culty and indie. It's like that kind of movie where it has that feeling. And
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was getting this confused with one of our Talking Trash
I had a
bad
feeling.
movie
Yeah,
night films.
Yeah, I knew you.
Okay, I did like Turbo Kid.
Yeah. Turbo Kid is actually pretty damn good, shockingly. So here we are with this movie. Now, here I think the biggest issue that's coming with this movie is it original? Now, I know that the style that he's going for is something different, where it is in the viewpoint of the killer, apparently. And what I've seen of it looks kind of interesting in that sense. And I think you really have you kind of like get in bad waters, like with the kind of stuff when you're trying something new for the first time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
You kind
I
of get in
also-
these problems.
I think that we have seen from the point of view of the killer before. I mean, a lot of the Jason movies are through his mask.
But I
Like-
think this is only through. I mean, I don't know. What I've heard is we only follow the killer.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, the Jason movies, they're not only through his mask, but a lot of it they show you.
Oh, you think this is going to be like first person? No, this is actually like the camera's behind him.
Oh, okay.
From what I've seen, and one of the odd things is the trailer of this looks like you're going to play a video game. Because he looks like, when you start off in a
Yeah.
video game, when they're over their shoulder, like behind the character, and you're
Mm-hmm.
following them doing things. That's what it looks like to me. While this could be an intriguing, attempt or concept, it might not necessarily turn out gold because it's one of those like first times. Like
Yeah.
we saw Skinamarink, which you hated, and it was trying to do something new. And I can see, like we talked about when we talked about that movie in one of our episodes of worst movies of the year and all that kind of stuff. I think is on YouTube. We talked about how that's the beginning, so it can maybe get better from there. I think the same thing goes here, where it might not be successful, but it could grow into a different thing. I feel like you're talking about the first person. We have seen movies like that where like a Hardcore Henry comes to mind, where it was just one viewpoint
Yeah.
of the action. It was through the person's body, like first person, the whole movie.
That was fun.
And I actually like it. I think it turned out really well.
Yeah.
But this one might be a problem. And I think another thing to talk about with this is how original it actually is, because this does seem like to me, it could come off as a fan film, Jason film.
Well, I saw this trailer for the very first time. One of my Instagram movie buddies shared it, and my first reaction to this trailer was just that. Like, wait a minute. Are we making like a little documentary on Voorhees here? Because it was from the back. They were showing him. It kind of looked like that a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, maybe it's just the trailer. Maybe there'll be more to it. I just hope that they don't follow all the horror movie tropes. I want this one to be different.
Well, even in the trailer, I think I posted this morning to say we're going to see this movie, and it's going to drop on tomorrow and everything. When I posted that trailer, in the trailer itself, there is multiple references to other horror movies.
Yeah.
At least in comments, I think one character mentioned something about, oh, you moved it and now he's undead and you can't stop him now and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, it's very Jason. The character even looks Jason-like. Instead of a hockey mask, it looks like something else.
Yeah.
And another quote is the exact quote from I Know What You Did Last Summer. which is very odd.
Yes.
Yeah, what are you waiting for? I'm right here. What are you
Yeah.
waiting for? All that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to be purposely like paying homage to all these films, or if it's just being, you remember this? And that's when we get into the member berries, which is a problem.
Yes. Also, it should be noted that there are a group of teenagers being stalked.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well,
I
that's
mean,
every horror movie,
right.
though, right?
Well,
So,
not every horror movie.
but it is a genre of in the woods people being stalked.
Yeah. I
So
don't
this in
know.
itself might be one big homage to it, but I don't know.
I really don't have any expectations on this. I don't. I only saw the trailer once. I didn't really. I didn't watch it twice. I usually watch trailers at least twice,
Yeah.
but I didn't. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go in blind,
Hmm.
and that's what I plan to do. So I'm hoping that I'll come out with like a good score, maybe at least a 6. But I don't know. I don't really have any hopes. I don't have any high hopes or low expectations at all. I don't have anything. So I'm just going in kind of like, okay, whatever. Let's go see it, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I am too. I mean, I always say I'm cautiously optimistic, but this is one of those times where I'm like, it might be bad. It might be one of those movies that we watch when we're sitting on the couch for fun and we're like trashing it and we do our talking trash. It could be one of those movies, but I would really like to come out surprised going, hey, you know what? Cool idea. Fun little technique, something different. Because I do want to be one of those people that goes and sees the original indie movie and gives these indie developers and these indie creators money, and helps them try to do new things. Because I do want to see new things. I want to see new ideas. I want to see that stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, we like to support the any filmmaker, any aspiring filmmaker, anyone who's trying. So I definitely want to see this. The only thing I'm thinking is, okay, I don't want all the tropes. I know there's gonna be some. I don't want all of them, and I also don't want to walk out of there feeling like I could have watched this on Shudder. You know?
Yeah, which it is going to show up on Shudder. So it is an IFC movie. They are putting it out, and that's
Okay.
how it's in the theaters right now. Which is what happened with I Saw the Devil. I think that's what it was called, the Late Night with
Late
Night
Night
with the
with the
Devil.
Devil.
What also got put out and then it came out later on streaming.
Yeah.
This probably will be like that too, but I thought it was really neat that it was in our theater, which is rarely ever happens.
Yeah.
So I figured, what the hell? Let's go see it. Let's give it a chance.
Okay.
All right, let's go check it out.
See.
You guys never heard of the White Pine Slaughter?
The what?
The White Pine Slaughter.
Just tell us the story.
You guys really want to hear it?
Yeah.
Come on. All right, buckle up.
Something's not right, man. Get it through your head. You don't know what you just did. It's the only thing holding his soul at rest.
Well, give it back.
You can't. He's awake now. What are you waiting for? We're right here.
Hello, everybody. We're back. We just saw Violent Nature. Pretty full theater, actually. We were a little shocked. We almost didn't get seats. Things work out very strangely. So we sat close to the movie theater, right to the screen, which we haven't done since God knows how long. It's been a long time, right?
Yeah, I don't recall the last time we actually did that. It was too close, I think.
Maybe it was too close, but I don't think it was such a distraction for this movie.
No, it was all right.
I feel like it worked.
Got through it.
All right, so what are our opening thoughts here? Was I correct in worry? What do you think?
You were 100% correct.
In which aspects?
Well, I mean, I did not enjoy this movie.
Okay.
I will say in the aspects of where you are correct, it was so very like generic. It didn't. I mean, it didn't really do all the tropes. That's one thing that we were wrong about. It didn't, but
It did in its own way, but I think it did it on purpose.
yeah. They did some gore.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't enough to keep me entertained
Okay.
at all. I thought that some of the gore that they did was kind of goofy. They did. I'm not gonna lie. This movie just did not entice me
Okay.
at all from minute one. I don't know what happened, but I went in thinking like, okay, this is. I have no expectations, so
Yeah.
it is what it is, and I was right to not have any expectations.
Okay.
Do you agree with that? Like, do you agree like not having any expectations is probably for the best?
I feel like it's always good to go into a movie without expectations because you can really build up and like make yourself believe that something's going to be better than it is. So I always think that it's pretty much probably a safe bet never to get yourself worked up. Never take trailers in. Like you can watch a trailer and then kind of like separate yourself. And I think that's a necessity in some of these movies. I enjoyed this movie.
You know, I'm very shocked by that.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by it myself. I found some things to be interested in this one.
Can I ask what interested you? Because I'm having trouble with this whole entire thing from minute one to minute end.
Yeah, I feel like this is an interesting movie. Is it flawed? Yes. There are some very glaring issues with this movie, and damn it, could he have made a very, very cool movie if this could have been a cinematographer's dream movie. And I think that they kind of touched on it a lot, but man, if he was given maybe a little bit more money with better cameras and took a little more time to plot out shots and make everything look amazing and maybe make things be a little more realistic, I think this could have been a real cult phenomenon. Unfortunately, he only touches on it. And I think this is a very unique and different movie. And I'm going to say it, and I say this a lot, it is not for everybody. It is not for the horror community. Like, it's not, it's more of in that community of people who are interested in something unique and different. Like I say, like Under the Skin, which I did enjoy. And it was also a very slow, all about shots and cinematography and ideas, and less more of like a movie that has got a narrative structure that you're used to. I feel like this movie is in that genre, in that style, because I think that Under the Skin maybe, of course, like it more, although that I would say that is not for your casual moviegoer.
Well, now when you say that this movie you don't think is for the horror community,
Well, I'm saying
what exactly do you mean by that?
this isn't for your Scream fan.
Okay.
This isn't for your Terrifier crowd.
Okay, so how would you identify this movie for the horror community?
Like I said, is one of those like Under the Skin.
Like, what would you say? Under the Skin's the only one. Like, is there anything else?
Yeah, sure. The Night Comes for Us.
Okay.
Stuff like that. That not psychological. I do think this is a deconstruction of the horror genre in slashers in particular from the other side of it, which I found very interesting. I think there's something really unique about watching. I think a lot of people glorify the villains in these horror movies, and I think I'm very guilty of it too. We all kind of like want to see Jason, kill the guys, but we're usually following the survivors, the fodder, the people who are going to get ripped up, and we learn to either hate them or hope for them to survive.
Yes.
This movie's like, fuck them.
I did not feel as though I was supposed to be rooting for any of them because
No, that's the point. That's what
they
I'm saying.
didn't give us anything on them. Nothing. They're just people.
Actually, they do give you everything you need to know in the tropes of what a slasher movie usually does with people. You get all of those tropes of each character from a slasher movie in this one group of people. And the movie focuses only on the killer. And it's unique because we're always just like, oh, it's so fun to watch all the victims and the killer get them. And this movie's like, no, you're gonna watch the slow walking, nothing to the killer, just getting to them. No music, just the sounds of the forest and him walking. And I was like, this is kind of unique and it's strangely compelling in a weird way. There was times where I was like, okay, this shot's really cool and I really like the way that they're doing this. Unfortunately, I kept being met with problems in the filmmaking where frame rate, resolution were dropping. There was a couple wonky camera moments. Unfortunately, there was a top shot, like a top down on an entire kill scene, and the camera kept going in and out of focus, like kind of warping. And I was like, damn it, that's unfortunate that he didn't reshoot this or find a new way to do this. But I can understand that because probably had no budget. And I don't know, there was also, I think this movie also tries to please the Terrifier fan, the horror fan, where the gore is insane. There's one kill in particular that is so insanely funny. It's so over the top. But the problem is what the actress does the seconds before it all happens is so bad. Like, it's just obviously standing there waiting, and it doesn't feel real. It takes you out of it. And I'm like, if they just kind of took it a little serious, if they kind of took this a little serious and they had a thing, I think this could have been something to really like dissect and explore. And I think it could be something very, very like standing out of the crowd, because I feel like I've seen every movie at this point. We're so into movies that we feel like it's hard to be surprised, And so I felt like this one was trying to do a little something different. And I kind of respected it. I especially liked the last half, which I can see a lot of people not liking, because we was listening to the crowd. I love listening to people around me because I want to know what they're thinking, and I'm always pretty sure I can guess it. A lot of people want that horror movie tropes, that the ending that they're told that they have to get in these kind of movies, like Terrifier. There's going to be a whole gore scene or a scream, and there's got to be a reveal and an ending. And this movie's like, no, we have a version of that to explore. And I think it's kind of unique, and I think it plays into what the whole movie really was. But I think that a lot of people won't see that. I think people are just going to see for what it is. It's a slow film with like dialogue in the moment you don't want it, and long walking shots that you feel like, okay, can we get to the things we want? And I was like, I know this is going to turn off a lot of people. I had a feeling that you might have been turned off on it when we were watching it.
I mean, yeah, there's slow burns and then there's this. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when I watch a horror movie, I get amped up and I get excited when I hear a score. So like, take for instance John Carpenter's Halloween score. Mm-hmm. It was on a Casio keyboard that, he probably bought for like $87 or whatever. And he did it and he scared the crap out of people with it. This movie had no score at all.
I think that's for a reason.
At all.
Yeah.
And I understand what he was going for. It just did not play to my desires.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that I might be one of those standard horror fans that just get excited with the, that kind of thing. I am, because I like to get amped up. I want to be afraid. And this villain did not scare me at all whatsoever. I mean, even Jason, he's menacing, even all the way up to freaking Manhattan. He's still menacing. You know, even when he's kicking boom boxes and shit, he's menacing. This guy, I did not feel that I was terrified. I didn't care about him at all. I didn't care about his backstory. I did not. I didn't root for anyone, and I always love in horror movies to have somebody to root for, at least one person. That's like, oh damn, you know, that person got killed. Damn. This one, there's not enough here. There's just not. I felt it was lacking in every single department. It was lacking in the horror aspect, the terrifying aspect, the kills, the score. I just didn't get it. I didn't feel it. I did not feel anything from this at all.
That's you nailed everything that I knew is the problem, and I think that this movie did everything that you're saying purposely.
I understand that.
Because they
That's-
want to, when you watch a normal, and that's why I brought up the whole idea of the horror fan. There's a slasher fan. There's different kinds of horror fans. I think that especially the horror community, they take it to one extreme or the other. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that one extreme is glorifying the villain. And I think a lot of the things that you're mentioning are tropes that help you glorify a villain. You have stinger music that is accompanying, and we're watching victims be destroyed, and we're kind of cheering for it. And I think that this movie's kind of showing you, like, when you take those movie tropes out, it's an interesting look at, like, yeah, this is just like a savage thing. Now, I wish it took the violence to a more believable place, but I know that it's playing on those tropes of Jason in particular, and slashers in particular, like Jason, like especially forest horror slashers. And I think it's doing that on purpose. But God, I wish if he would have took this a little more seriously, if he would have made the violence and the people more realistic and more grounded, this could have been something that was like a reflection on how we watch horror movies. And I think that's an interesting thing to explore.
Well, I mean, the way I watch horror movies, I can only speak for myself, that I'm anxious to see at least someone kicks a little ass. I'm anxious to see gore that's believable, not comedic. I mean, unless you're watching like Evil Dead. Then you know what you're going for.
Jason is all comedic.
It is, yeah, for the most part, but also Jason himself, he's a menacing character. He's a scary dude. I don't feel like, you know, this guy there's no consequences for him. You know, I just feel like this is a very generic movie. It was just like, okay, let's stalk some teens. This is every 1980s slasher film. That's the way I feel.
Exactly what I'm saying.
It didn't have anything special about it. There was no motivation. There was nothing.
I guess the point I'm trying to get to here is, what's the special thing about the horror movies that you're talking about? After a while, how special are those films?
Like, you got to be either rooting for the villain or the victims. That's the way I feel. And in this film, I rooted for no one. I didn't care. This was very, like, it bored me. I was bored. There was no story. Like, even the silliness of Jason Voorhees just going back to him, or even Ghostface. There's a story there. There's something behind it.
Is there?
There's a little bit of a story there.
What exactly? Because this movie did the same thing. The exact same stories.
I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it was very weak. The story was weak as
I'm
hell.
just saying it's actually there exactly the way that Jason is. It's like Jason's story is it's a weak, generic story. Even the creator of Jason admits to ripping off Halloween. And this movie not only references that, but at the end it references Halloween in the same shots, but they remove the music. And I think there's something I just think that kind of thing is definitely, I think that there's definitely two ways to have everything, right? And I said this about Skinamarink. We kind of had a discussion about this too, where you hated that. And I said that he's trying something, and I know it might not have worked 100%. Some people have found that, like, that thing about it that is unique and it's different to them. And They definitely gravitated toward it. I gravitated toward it a less than those people, but I do see their side of it. I think the same thing goes here, where I do think there is a uniqueness. There is something here. There's something to explore and dissect about what this is a little more than just saying it has nothing to it. I definitely think that there is something, there's more to it than you think. That's what I'm thinking.
See, I think that this is the opposite, and this is where
We'll have to talk off because I don't want to spoil.
I completely 100% disagree with that. I think there's less. There's
You said that about
nothing here.
Skinamarink. That's my point.
I just feel like there's nothing here. There's nothing here at all.
Okay.
Like, that's all.
Yeah, I think the point I'm trying to get across to you, though, is like when a new artist comes along and says, oh, I have a new idea. So the Blair Witch Project, right? Blair Witch Project comes out and they're trying something different. They're doing found footage and trying to trick the public into thinking what's happening is real. A lot of people saw that movie and said there's nothing here. It's boring. Nothing happens. It's annoying. And there's no score and there's no whatever. They're not used to it because it's not actually giving them the things that they've been told that they need in these horror movies. Because you can only do cookie cutter paste copy over and over, and I think that's my problem with Scream, where a lot of people just love that because they are so told, oh, I can't wait, I want to watch this formula over and over. And we're guilty of this too, because we grew up on Jason, we grew up on Freddy. I've always been able to tell these aren't that great because there's not much movie, but Robert Englund is fun, the Jason music is fun, there's things about these movies that really make it something that stands out. And I think my point is, when you are trying something new, do we condemn it or do we go, okay, I'll give you a little credit for doing something new with the idea, like going in a different direction, like Cloverfield tried to do, or like I brought up Blair Witch Project. Every so often a movie comes along and they go, what if we tried to do it in a different way? What if we dissect it a little bit, take things out that we're so used to and accustomed to? And should we not praise it just a little bit?
No, because here's the reason why. Okay.
Like, no.
Here's the reason why. Because this is one thing. So if this filmmaker is trying to do something different.
Yeah.
Why did he take all of the elements of every single horror movie and make it less interesting? So you're supposed to make it more interesting, not less interesting.
But I think that there was a lot of critics that came out and said that same thing about Blair Witch Project. We got kids going into the woods and dying, right?
Critics can suck my balls on that movie because let me tell you something, that scared a lot of people.
No, I know. But there were the other people who are like you right now saying, why did we make it duller? Why did we take the things out that I love and make it a little duller?
The way I feel is that if you're going to rip something off, which this movie 100% did, at least make it more entertaining than what you're ripping off.
So then why is it okay when Jason ripped off a movie? Why are you forgiving of that?
Well, I could tell you something. If Jason ripped off a movie, which he did.
He did.
Everybody
He admitted it.
Yeah. At least he had some elements in there that made us go, oh my God, this is great. There was elements in there that were great. Yes.
I think
he had his own score. He was menacing in his own right.
it's a score that was trying to exactly copy the score of Halloween, that the movie that he was trying to copy in the first place. He's, you raise yourself up on the shoulders of someone who came before, right? It's unfortunate, but that's the way of things. And I definitely think that I look, as much as I like Jason and the Jason franchise, I do know it's not that great. They're fun, but they're junky movies.
I mean, no one's denying that.
Well,
no
you just brought it up like it was so like a masterpiece.
I did not.
Well, I'm just saying you're boosting it up and saying that this movie, if you're gonna do a movie and you're gonna rip off another movie, do it better. But I'm like, well, what if you step back and talk about something?
Maybe not do it better, but at least add same elements in it that made those movies interesting to us. This movie was boring as fuck.
Okay.
It just was.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to get you to understand my side of it a
No,
little
I
bit
do
more because you
understand.
keep knocking it back down.
No, I don't mean to knock it back down. What I'm saying is there's nothing that got you enticed in this.
Okay.
And I would love to hear from everyone else about this movie and see if you guys feel the same way as I do or feel the same way as Scott does. But I literally felt like there's nothing here. There's nothing.
There wasn't one element that you were like, this is fun. So you're saying this has got nothing.
It's got nothing.
You're giving it a 1?
No, I mean, here's the thing. It was a passion project of someone, and I think that as a director, I think that the directing was fine. I can't even comment on the acting because I really didn't have much. But I will say that it was well filmed. So with that in mind, I will not give it a 1. I'll give it a 3. I did not care for this. I thought that it was it could have been way better than what it was. It just could have been. I feel like it lacked in a lot of departments.
I'm going to agree with you on the idea that this could have been better. I think that's very important. Like, yeah, some movies have ideas that are pretty decent and pretty good, but like don't get to greatness. And I think that some movies come along and go, well, we're trying something, and I'm going to praise them for that. And that's what I'm trying to say. I do think some movies come along, and I'm like, this is in that league to me where it's like, I've seen bad movies. We watch bad movies every Tuesday. They drop every Tuesday. We watch a really bad movie, and we usually pick apart these movies and go, what would have made this better? What would have made it worse? And I think that we can do that for every movie. I think that's very important for a lot of people because some people just look at a movie and they go, I love it regardless, and it's a 10. And then we talk about that on the other show a lot. And I think here, what's interesting to me is like just how it could have been much better. There are so many things that if this directing was just kicked up, every shot was like a cinematographer's dream. I can imagine like Sam Raimi back when they were in college and they were filming Evil Dead, and they were doing new camera styles and trying to make really amazing shots and going above and like inventing new ways to use the camera, which they were doing in that movie. If that was done here, I think that I would have been clapping a lot more. And I think a lot of maybe other people would have too. And I definitely think, yes, if it took itself a little more serious, if it did a little more with the victims in the movie and all that kind of stuff, if it did a little more with that and it took itself a little more seriously in that element, wow, I feel like this could have been super special. One of these particular scenes that just irritated the shit out of me was we get in our entire idea of who these characters are, the victims, while sitting around a campfire, and the camera spins around them the entire time. And I'm not even talking for like a few minutes. It goes on for a while. And I think that shot is good, but you have to use shots in moderation. You can't make someone feel like they're on a merry-go-round. You gotta you gotta like pace yourself, steady shot, make interesting ideas of the angles, and follow your own logic, because there are multiple times where we're looking over someone's shoulder at the thing we're supposed to follow his shoulder. Now I feel like, damn, if you just would have backed up and thought out a little bit more, this could have been really unique to me. So I'm on the fence. Well, not on the fence. I know exactly where my score is landing, and it's 3 more than yours. So I'm going with a 6. I actually think that there's something here, and I think I want to give credit for trying something new and different. And I think it's interesting. And we'll talk about it off air. I have definitely some thoughts I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely think that there's something here. I think we've landed in the same score areas with Skinamarink too, right? Where you were like a 1 or a 2, and I was like, I want to give it a 5.
I hated it. It was dreadful.
I do agree. Ended up giving it a 4, and I was like, it's unique. It's something that definitely could be worked upon and
Just
made into
because
something really special.
No. See, that's the thing. Just because it's unique, doesn't make it good. And also, if it needs to be worked upon, then it's not a good movie.
I think that, and again, the thing I'm trying to always tell you is that you should praise creativity a little bit more. Only, and then what I'm saying is, in that that idea is, how many times can we get the same movie? How many times can an action franchise turn into Fast and the Furious, where there's superheroes at the end of it? After a while, you have to start going, when are you going to get creative? You know what I mean? And you praise the action movies. Let's just say an action movie franchise like that took a chance, and did something a little smaller. And you're like, holy shit, look how impressive that is versus this. And you see that the movie that is successful is the John Wick that has become the Fast and the Furious, where characters are just like bouncing off cars, and it's
John
so
Wick,
silly. My
John
point
Wick's
is,
a dummy. Okay.
no, well, I'm trying to make a point. My point is that things become, when you let things go with no creativity, John Wick only became about shooting the scenes. It stopped being about the movie and the character. It started going like in a different direction. I know some people will disagree because people enjoy that, and they don't realize how much realism is getting rejected from their movie, and the creativity is getting lower. We keep taking out the things that make things interesting. My point is, I want to praise creativity and its chances, rather than praise people who are doing the same old, same old. I'm impressed with Dune, the new Dune movies, because you don't see movies that are doing things like that. It's very unique. It's like when Lord of the Rings came out, right? Lord of the Rings comes out and you're just like, holy crap, you blew open my expectations of what a fantasy film can be, because you're doing something different. And like Andy Serkis, just creating an entire new style of acting through motion capture. And you're like, I'm praising him. I have to praise this guy, because they're doing something different.
Hey, I give this guy credit for what he tried to do. It just did not do it for me.
I understand that. I'm just trying to make a point about praising chances and creativity a little bit more than praising the same old, same old. That's all.
No, here's the thing. I'm not praising the same old, same old. Okay, I
There's no reason to get angry.
I'm just telling. Yeah, I'm getting angry because I don't appreciate like when someone tells me, "Oh, you need to embrace the creativity. You need to."
I wasn't telling you.
Yes, you were. And I'm
No,
going to say
alright.
this. I'm going to say that I do embrace creative people, and I understand that they tried something. This guy and then the Skinamarink guy, they tried something. However, what might work for other people does not work for me.
Okay, this isn't, there's no boxing match here. We're just two people who love each other with different opinions. And I was just trying to make a debate for celebrating something else. That's all. No reason to get angry. I don't want to sleep on the couch. Okay, I love you.
I would
very
never
much.
make you sleep on the couch.
Just tell me you love.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you I love you off pod.
No,
I'll
see?
tell you right now that I feel like, yes, he did try something. I feel like he tried to go in the opposite direction of what the slashers give us, like Jason and Mikey and, the regular slashers.
Oh, please expand on that. What do you mean by that?
He tried to give us the opposite. Like, they're going in for full blood and guts and just kill the teenagers because they're having sex and stuff. The way I see it, he was going opposite is because he was literally killing these kids for no reason. And there was like a little tiny minuscule thing that they mentioned of, why he might be coming after them. But it was so dumb. It was just a dumb plot.
Can I just say that the Jason killing people for sex is not actually true? It's something that people who watch those movies made up. It was just that Jason was killing people.
Yeah, no, he was
just
killing
because
people.
they were
but
on his land.
It just so
That's it.
happens that he was killing indiscriminately, but they just happened to be fornicating.
Some of them were. Some of them were doing drugs, and so that just became a thing. What really was going on is Jason's killing. There's nothing to it. He's just violently killing people because they're near him.
Yeah, and I get it.
And so it's the same thing as what you're saying. At least here they said, "Oh, there's a reason."
I mean, did they?
Yep.
It didn't do it for me. Okay, that wasn't a good enough reason.
Okay. I feel like it was at least a reason.
I mean, yeah, it could have been a reason, whatever. But it just
I'm
didn't.
just-
The movie in itself was just not aesthetically pleasing to me for a horror film. I just wanted more. I didn't get more. I wasn't expecting anything, to be honest with you. I didn't go in with any expectations. So, but it sucks to come out feeling let down. And that's the way I feel, let down. Like, I feel like this could have been a better movie.
Yeah. I
That's
get it.
all.
I get it. No, yeah. I actually thought I was going to hate this movie. And so I'm a little surprised that I found something to at least enjoy about it. Now, I will say The Six. Is this a movie I can maybe rewatch? I doubt I will. It's probably not going to be one of those running to. If someone does like a talk about it, I'll be very interested in hearing about that. I'm giving it a 6 because I feel like it was a little bit more than mediocre. I understand, like, it's not like the most compelling movie that like sit down and break apart forever, but I do think there is a conversation in there, some interesting ideas. I'm not hating on it. I'm actually
Okay.
kind of intrigued about it, and I can't wait to talk to you off because we don't want to spoil here.
Well, this is right out of the gate. So we just got home, and I want you to reflect on this, and I want you to watch it again and tell me again, because this is a mediocre
again.
at best, and that is being generous. Mediocre film, okay?
Okay.
Mediocre. There's nothing special about this movie at
Okay.
all.
All right.
That's my opinion. Sorry.
All right, Jesus.
All right, I'm not coming for you.
I
I,
feel
love
like
you.
you're gonna kick me in the balls.
I
for some
might
reason.
if you just keep on.
All right. Jesus. Hey, everybody. I hope you had as much fun listening to our banter and our argument here that it has turned into.
Is it an argument?
Yeah, it's gotten a little
It
violent.
is not. No.
You were getting angry. At one point, you had your tongue in your cheek because you wanted to yell at me.
No.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to yell at you,
I
Scotty.
don't know. I don't know. I feel.
You're my bestest good friend.
I feel insulted. I feel attacked.
You feel intact or attacked?
I said attacked.
Oh, you said attacked? I don't know. I can't hear.
Well, you know what? Now you're coming for me in a different way. Jeez. I even asked you to tell me you love me, and you said no.
Hey, guess what?
And it's on tape. Everybody heard it.
I said I love you.
No, you said
missed
I'll
it.
tell you off.
No, I just said
camera.
it just now. I said it. I love you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We're on social media at Just Another Movie Night on Instagram and Crafty Misfit on Instagram. We want to hear your opinions. Horror fans, reach out. I'm pretty damn sure this is going to be extremely divisive. I feel like there are going to be people in both camps of this argument. I would love to hear it. Please reach out if you do check this movie out. I can imagine a lot of the people that I know, horror fans on Instagram, the other movie reviewers, are going to hate this. So I'm interested in hearing about it. Reach out. Tell me. And tell me you love. Have a good one. Good night. Bye.